Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the historic Grand Theater for Act One's production of Treasure Island. Please take this opportunity to turn off all electronic devices. Photography and video recording of any kind is strictly prohibited. In the event of an emergency, please proceed calmly to any of the marked exits. There will be one 15-minute intermission with concessions available by donation in the lobby. After the performance, the cast will receive visitors in the encore room located next to the main lobby area. More information about Act One can be found on Facebook and at allstarstheater.org. Now, please sit back, relax, and enjoy Treasure Island.
I'll be drinking only hellfire in the devil's own hand.
None more welcome than yourself, to be sure. Out with the lay of the treasure. I be rightful captain now.
I refuse to do that. Take my treasure map and here you.
There comes a time in every young man's life where he has to choose the sort of man he's going to be. Will he respect the lives of others? Will he respect the rule of law?
Will he steal, lie, or take advantage of others? Will he succumb to ignorance and violence and greed?
Because there are only two sorts of men in this world.
Decent, civilized, God-fearing men who serve their king and country with honor.
And pirates.
I'll make her Billy Bullets for some offering. A black passage to me to change my voice.
State your name for the record.
Dr. William Lipsey.
Captain Alexander Smollett.
And Jim Hawkins, Your Lordship.
You have been summoned here before the Board of Admiralty, young man, along with Captain Smollett and Dr. Lizzie, to answer to the charge of piracy and give an account of the events on Treasure Island. Do you solemnly swear that the accounts that you will give at this hearing will be truthful?
I do so swear, Your Lordship.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Lordship. My account begins at the time when my ailing father and I kept the Admiral Benbow Inn at Blackham Village, and an old seaman with a saber cut across his cheek, dragging his sea chest behind him, first period our boot.
There she lay in soggy sky, down and up and staring eyes, in verse and said and false arise. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum! This is a handy go, in a pleasant situated grog shop. Much company, mates.
No, very little company. More's the pity.
Then this be the berth for me. I'm a plain man. Rum, bacon, and eggs is all I need. And that berth up there to keep what ship's on. I reckon I'll stay here.
Very well. Jim, take our new lodger's chest up to his room.
I'll stow me own chest.
And, what name may we place in our register?
Nothing's to go in your log, but you might call me Captain. Oh, I see like your head. There. You let me know when I've worked through that.
And all day long the captain stood upon the cliff, Your Lordship, spying around the cove with his brass telescope. And every day when he came back, he would say,
Jim lad, I promises you a silver forfeit on the first of every month, if you're to keep your weather eye open for a seafaring man with one leg. And it lets me know the moment he updates.
but every time the first of the month came around, and I asked for my wage, he would stare at me out of the room. In fact, Your Lordship, he stayed month after month, and we never saw father any more rent. My poor father never plucked up the sit in the corner next to the fire, drinking far more blood than his head could carry, filling the pub with dreadful stories about.
The dry Tortugas,
And,
keel hauling,
and,
walking the plank.
and often the whole inn was shaken with his wicked old seesaw.
Oh, she was a wench or some shuddering maid that dared the knife and took the blade. By God, she had stuff for a plucky jade. Yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum.
The captain was only once crossed, as Dr. Livesey testified earlier. How are you feeling today, Mr. Hawkins?
Silence there between decks.
Are you addressing me, sir?
To be sure, mate.
Well, I've only one thing to say to you, sir. That if you keep drinking rum, the world will soon be quit of a very dirty scoundrel. If you do not put that knife this instant in your pocket, I promise upon my honor you shall hang at the next assizes. And now, sir, since I know there's such a fellow in my district, I'll have an eye upon you day and night. I'm not a doctor only, I'm a magistrate. And if I catch a breath of complaint against you, I'll take effectual means to have you hunted down and routed out. The captain kept calm and quiet for the rest of that evening, and for many evenings to come. And I kept my eye open for seafaring men, missing one leg or two, your lordship. Then, one evening, a strange, unpleasant man, missing two fingers on his left hand, went into the inn.
Come here, sonny! Come near here! Is this here table for my mate Billy?
No, sir, it's for the captain.
Well, my mate Billy would be called the captain. As like as not, he has a cut on one cheek in a mighty pleasant way with him, particularly in trim, as my mate Billy. We'll put it for argument that your captain has a cut on one cheek, and that that cheek is the right one. But well, I told you, it's my mate Billy in this here house.
No, sir, he's up walking.
Which way, sonny? Which way is he gone?
Out with us, I'll go find him.
No, come back in, sonny. Get back, you blasted hide! Now that's a good boy. I have a son of my own, as like you as 2 blocks. He's all the pride of my heart. But a great thing for boys is discipline, sonny. Discipline! If you had sailed along with Billy, you'd have stood there to be spoken to twice. Not you. There was never Billy's way nor a sick sailing him. Well, here, sure enough, is my mate Billy. Bless his heart, I say, you and me'll give Billy a little surprise. Just as heart I say again. Billy Bones! Come now, Billy. You know an old shipmate, surely? Black Dog. And who else? Black Dog as ever was. Come forth to see an old shipmate at the Admiral Benbow. Ah, Billy, Billy. We've seen a sight of times, us two, since I lost them 2 talents. You run me down, Black Dog. Here I am. Well then, speak up. What is it? Aye, duty's duty, messmate. But I'll have a glass of rum first from this here china, as I've taken such a liking to, and we'll sit down and talk square, if you please. Fetch us rum, gentlemen. Well, it took me nearly 5 years, but I finally sniffed you out, Billy. You had to know I would, and this is how I figured. I figured you lied to us. Captain Flint had got off his chart. Now you tell me what else explains your disappearing act in Savannah. And what if I do got Flint's chart? Well, Billy, that gold ain't yours. It belongs to all of us hands that sail along with Flint. Now that I've found you, we are going to come to terms, or we'll jolt that chart out of you. No one walks away with my sport, do you hear me? I'll have no more of your gabbling, Black Dog. If it comes to swing all I say! Billy, dead men don't bite! Rum, Jim, lad. Rum.
Jim! Smells of disgrace upon his house, and your poor father's sick. This man's had a stroke, precisely as I wanted. Now I must do my best to save his trebly worthless life. Jim, fetch me Mason. Yes, doctor. You see the tattoo, Jim? Yes, sir. It's gallows with a man hanging from it. Rather. Now, Master Bones, let's have a look at the color of your blood. Are you afraid, Jim? No, sir.
Where's Black Dog?
There's no black dog here except what you have on your own back. You have been drinking rum. You've had a stroke, and I just, very much against my will, dragged your headmost out of the grave. Now I clear my conscience. The name of rum for you is death. Jim, help him to his bed. He should lie there for a week at least. That is the best thing for him and you. Start with this.
Jim, lad. You're the only one left here that's worth anything. And as you can see, I'm pretty low and deserted by all. So you'll fetch me one noggin of rum now, won't you?
But Doctor lives in...
Oh, doctors is all swabs. And that doctor there, why, what do he know about seafaring men such as I lived on rum, I tell you. It's been meat and drink, and men in white meat. And if I'm not to have my rum now, I'm a poor hole on a lee shore. And my blood will be on your head. Yours now, Colonel Dr. Swabs. Look, Jim, how my fingers pinches. I'll have no horns. And if I have no horns, I'm a man that has to live in rum. Our race came, so please, I'll give you a golden guinea for your troubles.
I want none of the money, but what you owe my father. I'll give you one glass, no more.
Aye. That doctor said how long I was supposed to lie in this old berth.
A week at least.
Oh, wait! They have the black spot on me by now. Them lovers is going about to get the wind of me this very moment. Lovers that couldn't keep what's theirs. Want to know what is another's. Aye. That's some better, sure enough, Jim. Now that Black Dog, he's a bad one. But there's worse than put him on. It's my own sea chest there. This here, Jim. This is my lover's. Now I've been with the black spot, mind you. You go get that internal Dr. Swabs and all the other magistrates. Tell them if they hasten here to the Admiral Benbow, and I'll capture all Flint's soul again. Huh. All of them that's left of this. And you, Jim, you take this and store it away from me.
You sailed with Captain Flint.
Aye. This Captain Flint's first mate I was, and the only one that knows the place. He gave it me when he lay and died, much like I was to him now, you see. But you won't be so unless they give me a black spot, or unless you see that Black Dog. Or worst of all, the man with one leg, Jim. Him up the hall.
The captain was weak, your lordship. Over the next several days, only seemed to get worse. And my poor father.
I need to lie down, Jim. You'll have to tend to the counter for the rest of the day. There's a good lad.
I was left to tend to the inn alone for days at a time. Then, later that evening, a dreadful-looking figure slowly drew near the inn.
Willie, kind friend, please help a poor blind man who lost his breast in a sight of eyes for his native country, England, and God bless King George well with one country he may be.
You're at the Admiral Benbow, my good man.
I hear a voice. I am voice. Will you give me a hand, you kind laddie, and lead me in? Now, boy, you take me straight into the captain. And if you don't, I'll break your heart.
You're so
Now, March. Now you take me straight into it, lady. You take me straight on the stake. Here's a good friend, Billy. the rest of my right hand and put it on his. Duty is duty. That's it. Now that's all done. Sorry, madam.
Black spot!
The captain had another stroke, Your Lordship, and fell dead on the bedroom floor. I called for my father and lost no time in telling him all that I knew, and perhaps I should have told him long before.
Well, son, some of this man's money, he has any, is certainly due to us. But it's not likely that his shipmates will be inclined to give up their booty in payment for his debts.
Look, Father! The black spot! You haven't till 10 tonight.
It's only just 9, Jim.
The blind beggar couldn't have got far, and black dog leaving your hand.
Quick, bolt the door and draw the blinds. Jim, even though there's no shame in taking what is lawfully ours. Now we just have to find the key.
Oh, it's round his neck, Father.
Show these rogues that I'm an honest man. Have my dues, not a farthing over.
Hurry, Father, take the let's be going.
I know my rights, son. I'll have no fraction more nor less than what is due to me. Every man has his fault, and honesty is mine. I'll take what I have. Jim, come on.
Bring down the door, you infernal idiots!
If you'd like to, Hawkins, sir, Jim, you can come along. Are you free to ride, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Lord. My involvement began in earnest from the very same evening the inn was tapped. That afternoon, I got to dine with Squire John Trelawney, a wealthy landowner in the district, and dear friends. We had just retired from the library with our brandies, and the servant let in Mr. Hawkins, young Jim, and the Squire's gamekeeper named Tom Dredrick. After I had seen to Mr. Hawkins' comfort, Dredrick stood up straight and stiff and told the story like a legend.
Bravo! Redmond, you are a very noble fellow. And as for running down an atrocious mystery into you, I regard it as an act of virtue, like stepping on a cockroach. You are dismissed. After you've had some ale and a hearty supper, of course. Thank you, Squire. Does that help to jump by the sea?
So, Jim, have the finger around the pattern? Yes, here it is.
And now this.
Now, one at a time, one at a time. You've heard the splint, I suppose.
Heard of him? Heard of him, you say? He was the brother just his company in the Dove Sail. That was a child to Flint. The Spaniards were so prodigiously afraid of him that I tell you, Livesey, I was sometimes proud of an Englishman. I've seen these topsails with these eyes off Trinidad and the cavalry son of Ron Puncheon that I once sailed with. Put back, sir, into Port of Spain.
But the point is, how do you money?
Money? What do these minutes offer but money? What do they care for with money? Or what will they risk their rascal carcasses for but money?
That we shall soon see. Now, supposing we have here a map for us to bury this treasure, will that treasure mount much?
Amount, sir? It will amount to this. 700,000 pounds in gold. Haven't you heard the stories? If this is the matter we talk about, I'll pick up a ship in Bristol Dock, and I'll have that gold by such a year.
Very well. Now then, Jim's Grable will open the packet. It's a map of the island. It's two, actually, an island and an islet. Markings have shaped the foremast hill, the spyglass hill, the Stockhaven Blockhouse, among other features. And with every navigational potato they needed to bring a ship safe anchored upon its shore.
There, on the back!
Given by above, J.F. to Mr. Derek Jones, mate of the Wallace, Savannah is 20 July, 1754. Well, that's less than 5 years ago.
Old treasury, tall tree, spire my shoulder, bearing a point to the north and northeast.
Northeast.
East, southeast. Skeleton Island, east, southeast, and my east, 10 bases.
10 bases.
Bar of silver in the north, cash, the trend of the east, hummock.
Trend of the east, hummock.
10 fathoms south of the black crag with the face on it.
Black crag with a face on it.
Now up anchor, Billy Bones, and shove off. A black passage to any that chase my fortune.
Black crab with a face on it. Gold and bar silver are buried separately on the island, presumably under these crosses.
Lizzie, you will give up your wretched practice at once. Tomorrow I start for Bristol. In 3 weeks' time, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 10 days, we'll have the best ship, sir, and the choicest crew in England. You, Lizzie, our ship's doctor. I am Admiral, and we'll take my men Redruth and Hunter. We shall have favorable winds, quick passage, and not the least difficulty in finding the spot. And gold, to eat, to roll in, to play, duck and drink with ever after.
May I go, sir?
You'll make a famous cabin boy, Hawkins.
I'll go with the squire, and so will Jim's father will allow. There's only one man I'm afraid of.
And who's that? Name the dog, sir.
You, for you cannot hold your tongue. We are not the only men who know of this treasure map. These fellows who attacked the inn tonight, bold, desperate to take to shore, and more, I dare say, not far off, are one and all bound to get that gold. From first to last, not one was free the word won't be found.
You're always in the right, man, Lizzie. I'll be as silent as the grave.
But it was longer than the squire imagined ere we were ready to see all of it. And it was during this interim, sadly, that Mr. Hawkins passed away. The Admiral Benbow Inn, as a necessity, was closed, and Jim remained aboard Squire Trelawney. The boy took his father so very hard, and he brooded by the hour over the old treasure map as the weeks passed. And then, one day, evidence of the squire's progress in Bristol arrived in the form of a letter. Dear Livesey, the ship is bought and fitted. She lies at anchor, ready for sea.
You never imagined a sweetest schooner. 200 tons. Name, Hispaniola. Everybody here in Bristol literally slaved in my interest once they got rid of it. report, please, Ilford. Treasure Island.
Hear the squire's been talking after all, Jim.
I wish to around score of men in case of natives or buccaneers or the odious French.
And then have a worry of the juice itself to find as much as half a dozen until the most remarkable stroke forth and brought me the daring man that I required.
I'm just an old sailor. I have philosophy help running a tavern ashore. I hobbled down here this morning just to get the smell of the salt. All I want is a burden as a ship's cook just to get to sea again.
I was so monstrously touched, so you would have been. I engaged him on the spot. He should cook. Long John Silver he is called, and he lost a leg in his country's service under the immortal Admiral Fox. And literally, I thought it was only a cook I found, but it was an entire crew I discovered. Between Silver and myself, we got together a company of the toughest old salts imaginable.
Well, they're not pretty to look at, Silver, but the fellows find their faces, the most indomitable spirit. I declare we can fight the frigate.
I couldn't have picked a likelier bunch of lads if I picked up myself, Squire Trelawney.
So now, Liz, do not lose an hour in respecting in full speed Bristol.
See you with her, John Trelawney.
No, your lordship. I do not think Long John Silver was the one-legged sailor I had been warned about. Because once I arrived in Bristol and I met him in his cabin, I cannot believe that this clean, crippled, cheerful man could mean harm to anyone.
And what a ship was christened. So let her stay, I says. So it was with the old walruses I've seen amuck with red blood and fit to sink with gold.
Silver, sir.
That's me name to be sure. And who might you be?
I'm Jim Hawkins. I have an up from you from Squire Trelawney.
I see. You're to be our new captain, boy. Pleased I am to meet you. You can call me Long John.
Stop him, it's Black Dog!
I don't care two coppers who he is. He hasn't paid his bill. Harry, run and catch him. If he were Admiral Hawke, he shall pay his bill. Now, what did you say he was? Black Bucks.
Dog, sir. Did Squire not tell you of his buccaneers? He was one of them.
Buccaneers. In my house. Was that you drinking with Tom Morgan and George Mary? Step up. Now, you never clapped your eyes on this black dog before, have you? You didn't know his name, did you?
Very much I did.
By the powers, it is good for you too. Now, what was he talking to you about, Tom Morgan?
I don't rightly know, sir.
Don't rightly know, don't you? Call that a head on your shoulders or a blessed dead eye. Come now, what was he doing? Pipe up, George Mary.
He wasn't talking of Keel Holland.
Keel hauling, was it? A mighty fine thing, and you may lay to that. Get back to your places for lovers, the both of you. Now, they're quite honest then, Tom Morgan and George Mary. Only stupid. Now, let me see. Black Dog, I don't know his name. No, but I think I've seen this one before. He used to come here with a blind beggar.
I knew that black man too. His name is Pew.
That it was. Hugh, that's where his name for certain. Now, we run down this black talk. We'll have news for Squire Trelawney. Talk of keel hauling, will he? I'll keel haul him. Look here. Some mighty hard thing for a man like me. Have that confounded son of a Dutchman in me own home, drinking of me own rum. And I lets him give us the slip, right before me old attendants. Hawkins, you'll do me justice with the Squire. You're a lad, you are, but you're smart as nails. I seen that when you first come in. What could I do with this timber I hold on? Why, when I was master of America,
let it run up alongside him and broached him in a brace of old shakes. But now, a bill. 3 goes a rum and shivery timbers if I hadn't forgotten the bill. Oh, the precious old sea calf I am. You and I should get on well, Hawkins. Come, stand by and go back. This won't do. Duty is duty, Miss Lord. I'll go along with you, Miss Squire Trelawney, and report this here affair. Every man has his faults, and honesty be mine.
It is a shame this black dog got away.
That was how it were, wasn't it, Hawkins?
Yes, sir.
Well, there's nothing to be done now. Thank you, Silva. All hands will invite you this afternoon.
Aye, aye, sir.
Well, Squire, I don't have much faith in your discoveries as a general thing, but I will say this. One substitutes me.
The man's perfect drunk. Now come along, Hawkins. We'll inspect the ship and I'll introduce you to Captain Smollett.
Thank you, Your Lordship. I first met Dr. Lizzie and Jim Hawkins aboard the Hispaniola. I had just ordered all hands aboard by 4 bells, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they arrived shortly before, accompanied by Squire Trelawney. All 3 were up aboard by my first mate, Mr. Arrow.
Welcome aboard, Squire!
Mr. Arrow, I'd like you to meet Dr. Lindsay and young Hawkins here.
Master Hawkins, Dr. Lindsay, Captain Smollett, sir, acts as speaker.
I'm always in the captain's orders. Show us in, Mr. Arrow.
Aye,
Well, Captain Smollett, all well, I hope. All ship-shape and seaworthy.
Well, sir, better to speak plain, I believe, even at the risk of offense. I don't like this cruise, I don't like my men, and I don't like my first mate. That's short and sweet.
Possibly, sir. You may not like your employer either.
Stay a bit. Stay a bit. No use of such questions as that produce ill feeling. As captains, I have said too much or too little, and I'm bound to say reply the explanation's words. You don't, you say, like Mr. Cruz, not time.
I was engaged, sir, on what we call sealed orders to sail the ship for that gentleman where he should bid me. So far, so good, but now I find that every man before the mast knows more than me, and I don't find that fair now, do you?
No, I know.
Next, I learned we are going after treasure. Here from my own hand, mind you. Now, I don't like treasure voyages on any account, and I don't like them above all when they are kept secret. And when the secret, begging your pardon, Squire Trelawney, is told to the parent.
Silver's parrot.
It's a way of speaking. Blabbed, I mean. Now, it's my belief neither of you gentlemen know what you're about, but I'll tell you my way of it. Life or death and a close run.
It's all clear, and I dare say true enough. We take the risk. We are not so ignorant as you would believe us. Next, you say you don't like the crew. Are they not good seamen?
I believe I should have the choosing of my own men if you go to that.
Perhaps you should. My friend should perhaps take you along with him. The slight, if there be one, was unintentional. And you don't like Mr. Arrow.
I don't, sir. I think Mr. Arrow is a good seaman, but he's far too familiar with the crew to get a first mate. A mate should keep himself to himself and shouldn't drink with the men before mast.
Mr. Arrow drinks?
Well now, Captain, long and short of it, tell us what you want.
The men are loading the powder and arms in the quarters next to the forehold. That, gentlemen, is never done. You have a perfectly good place up the cabin, why not put them there? First point. Then you are bringing your own men with you when they are berthed with the rest of the crew. Why not give them the berth with you here in the cabin? Second point.
Any more?
One more. There's been too much blabbing already. I'll tell you what I've heard myself, that you have a map of an island, that there's crosses on the map to tell where the treasure is, and that the island lies.
And then, your lordship, Captain Smollett told the exact latitude and longitude of Treasure Island.
I never told that to a soul!
All the hands know it, sir.
Lindsay, that must have been you or Hawkins.
Captain, you wish us to make a garrison, stone guard the ship, man with the Squire's own men, and provide with all the arms and powder on board, in other words, music.
No captain, sir, would be justified to go in to see it all if he had grounds enough to say it. But I am responsible for the ship's safety and every man jack aboard of her. But I see things going as I think not quite right, and I ask you to take certain precautions or let me resign. That's all.
Captain Small, we came in here, I'll stick my hat in the waters.
Doctor, you are smart. But when I came in here, I meant to get discharged. I never thought Squire Trelawney would hear a word.
No more I would. Had Dr. Lindsay not been here, I should see you to the juice. As it is, I have heard you. I will do as you desire. But I think the worst of you.
That's as you please. You'll find I do my duty.
But, contrary to all my notions, I believe you have managed to get 2 honest men on board with you. That man and John Silver.
Silver, if you like. But as for that intolerable humbug, I think its conduct unmanly, unsavory, and downright un-English.
Long as shall speak.
All right, get your backs into it. Faster, faster. That's really as fast as you can go.
So, Miss, what's this?
Oh, we're changing the powder line, Uncle John.
Why, we do that, we'll miss the morning tide.
My orders, you may go below, man. Had to want supper.
Aye, aye, sir.
Easy with that powder, men. Easy. The Hispaniola had just begun to 64. Using Captain Flintstone's chart, I set course to run up the trade and find wind of the island.
Flying about for swab the day.
Aye, keep it long.
Aye.
Aye, aye, lads. 15 men on a 10-man's chest. Drink and the devil had done with the rest.
Using Captain Flintstone's chart, I finally set course to run up the trade and find wind of the island.
You seem to take quite lightly with the ship, Captain.
So lie a point nearer the wind than a man has a right to expect his own married wife, Dr. Lindsay.
And you'll have to admit, Captain, that you seem to have been all wrong about the crew.
All I say, Squire, is we're not home again yet. And I don't like this cruise.
Long before they came to the links of Treasure Island, Mr. Arrow appeared on deck with a hideously eyed, red cheeks, and other marks of freckles. Nobody was much surprised, nor even sorry, when one dark night he was seen no more.
Mr. Arrow has disappeared entirely. I believe he has gone overboard.
Overboard? Well, gentlemen, it'll save me the trouble of putting him in irons.
Captain, you cannot sail without first mate. You'll have to advance one of the other sailors.
Joe Anderson will be the likeliest man aboard. He'll serve it away as our first mate, but he'll keep his old title.
Very well.
Very well.
Captain I calls the parrot Captain Flint after the famous bucket. Captain Flint was predicting success on the voyage, wasn't you, Captain?
Pizza mate! Pizza mate! Pizza mate! Pizza mate!
That bird is maybe 200 years old. They live forever most. But look at her, you think she was a baby. You smelled powder, didn't you, Captain?
Stand by! Stand by! Go now! Stand by!
She was sent the fishing up on the old police ships. It's where she learned pieces of eight and no one. 350,000 of them Hawkins. She sailed with Captain Maitland, the pirate. If any man see more witness, it's the devil himself. Ain't that right, Captain?
You bilge like it's all Sundays!
Aye, she's a handsome craft. But you can't touch pitch and not be mocked. You may lay to that.
Never was a ship's company so spoiled since Noah put to sea. Duff on odd days, double grog going on the least excuse, a barrel of apples on deck for any man to serve his fancy.
It's the bosun's birthday.
spoil foxhole hands make devils, that's my belief. Never knew good come of it yet.
A trifle more of that man, and I shall explode! Hawkins, fetch me an apple.
Now, Dick, you're a lad, but you're smart as pains. I seen that when I first set eyes on you. But I'll talk to you like a man. The thing about sailors of fortune, sailing's rough, and they risk swing. But when a cruise is done, it's hundreds of pounds instead of hundreds of farthings in your pockets. I'm 50 mark, and I've lived easy, slept soft, and ain't dainty all my days than when I was at sea. And where did I get my start? Before the mast like you.
Well, I tell you now, I didn't have a quarter like your dog until I had this talk with you. Here's my hand on it now, Captain Silva.
Dick Square. Oh, I know Dick Square. He's no fool as Dick. Hey, look here. Here's what I want to know, Long John. How long are we going to stand off and on like some blessed bumbo? I've been hazed by Captain Smollett. I've been hazed by Captain Smollett 6 weeks. By thunder. I want to go in that cabin, I do. Jesus, why is that? Israel Hands, your head ain't much account. Whoever it was, I reckon. But you can hear. These ways your ears is big. So here's what I said. You'll birth forward, and you'll live hard, and you'll speak soft, and you'll keep sober till I gives the word. And you may lay to that, my son. Easy all, Long John. 5 hours, I'll tell you when. The last moment I can manage, that's when. Here we have a first-rate seaman, Captain Smollett, who sails the blessed ship for us. Here we have this doctor and squire with a chart and such. I don't know where it is to lie. No more than you, says you. So I need for this doctor and squire to help us find the treasure and bring her aboard, and then we'll see. If I had my will, I'd have Captain Smollett sails halfway back before I struck.
Why, we're all seamen aboard here, I should think.
We're all fox lads. We can steer a course, but who's to set one? That's what you gentlemen split on first and last. If I was sure of you all, sons of double Dutch, I'd have Captain Smollett sails to the trades at least. No, I know you all. You'll have done with them at the island as soon as the float's on board, and a pity it is to split my sides. I have a sick heart to sail with the likes of you. How many tall ships think you've I seen lately? How many brisk lads trying in the sun and execution dock? And all from the same hurry and hurry and hurry. Why, if you'd only lay your course and a fight to windward, you'd ride in carriages you would, but not you. You'll have your mouthful of rum tomorrow and go hang.
But when we lay them on board, what are we to do with them anyhow?
That's what I call business. But what do you think? Leave them ashore like a bunch of maroons, not to the captain's way. Or carve them up like that much pork, in Captain Flint's or Billy Bones.
Ah, Billy Bones. Dead men don't fight, says he. Well, he's dead now himself. He knows the long and short on that.
Mark you here, I came by death. When I'm in Parliament and riding in my carriage, I don't want none of these sea lawyers in the cabin coming home unlooked for like the devil in prayers. Wait is what I say. When the time comes, why, let her rip.
Long John, you're a man.
Aye. You'll say when you see Mr. Hands. Only one thing I claim for one. I'll bring his calf's head off his neck with these hands. Dick, why don't you fetch me an apple to wet the pipe?
Aye, Captain.
Palladiums. Let's have golden rum. I have a gauge on the can. Here's the key. You just pop up like a sweet lad, fill a paddock in a river.
Aye, Captain.
Joe Anderson, out in the cabin.
14 in all, sir. Count me and Mr. Hans here and you people, John.
14. We are 19 to their 6.
Well, Tom Morgan will have a go, and George Merritt, Harry, Johnny, Dirk O'Brien, and 5 holdouts to the vineyard, personally hire on yourself, Abraham Gray,
Alan the Nick.
vicious dogs, the both of them. You get your word on trying, and I'll cleave them to the brisk.
Hold your gun. Here's luck.
Here's old Flynn.
Here's to ourselves and hold your luck. Plenty of prizes and plenty of duff.
Land ho!
Men, has any one of you ever seen that land before?
I have, sir. I watered there with a trader I was cooking.
It's on the south, behind the islet, I fancy.
Aye. Skeleton Island, they call this. Aha. There it is, Cap Kidd's Anchorage. Poor main place for pirates once. We had a hand on board who knowed all their names for it. The hill to the north they calls the foremast hill. And the big one with the cloud on it they calls the spyglass. On account of us lookout they kept there when they was at Anchorage. You can just make out the stockade the pirate cap built with his own hands, so they say.
Thank you. My lads, this place that we have sighted is the very place that we have been sailing for. Every man has done his duty alone and aloft, as I never asked to see it done better. Why, the squire, the doctor, and I are going to drink to your health and luck, and you'll have grog served out to you to drink to our health and luck. I'll tell you what I think of this. I think it's handsome.
Let's give a good sea cheer for the captain.
Captain Small, Dr. Lindsay, and Squire went to the cabin, Your Lordship, and not long after, as quick as I could make it, I told them the whole detail of Lord John's conversation.
Bring my neck with his bare hands, will he? Captain Smollett, you were right, and I was wrong. I owe myself an ass, and I await your orders.
No more an ass than I, sir.
And to think that they're all Englishmen. Sir, I can find it in my heart to blow this ship up.
Redruth, Hunter, gentlemen, it's got to come to blows sooner or later, so here's my plan. Once we drop anchor, we'll allow them to lay ashore. If all of them go, we'll sail off, return with reinforcements, and fight them with the numbers in our favor. If none of them go, we'll hold the cabin, God defend the right. If some of them go, why, we split their force, haven't we? We'll keep one jolly boat in reserve, load as much supplies as we can, row like devils for the stockade on your map, and defend our lives and the treasure from there.
And leave them with the ship. They are pirates, Captain. They'll maroon us here.
Silver wouldn't dare poison anchor, not one of his rabble can cause a course. They can't sail the ship without me.
As long as Flint's gold's on the island, Squire, Sybil will keep the ship nearby. It's the only means of all the treasure. As long as we protect the land, Silver will never get his hands on gold.
All right, Captain. Your plan it is.
Thank you, Squire. We can count on your servants, Redruth and Hunter, I take it.
As upon myself.
2, ourselves make 6, including Crockett's hand. 6, 25 on board whom we know we can rely. And out of those 6, 1 is a cabin boy.
Silver can help us not more than anyone. Men out shy and Jim is just a lad.
Hawkins, I've got prodigious faith in you.
Yes, we all do.
To Hawkins.
To Hawkins. The Hispaniola made a great deal of way during the night, Your Lordship, but the very sight of the island relaxed every cord of discipline. The slightest order was received with a black look and grudgingly and carelessly obeyed. Mutiny was plain, hung over us like a thundercloud. The traitorous Silver stood by the steersman and conned the ship all the way up to the anchorage. He knew the passage like the palm of his hand.
There, quite near the wind, Mr. Hans. We'll clear the island on the east.
Aye, well,
It's time.
All right, Captain, we'll bring up the guns.
My lads, we've had a hot day ashore and we've had a hot day and the turn ashore will help nobody. Take 2 jolly boats and as many as please may go ashore for the afternoon.
Now, comrades, this island here is a sweet spot for a lad to get ashore on. A sweet spot indeed, isn't that right, mates?
Aye, you'll climb trees, matey.
Aye, and you'll swim.
you hung goats.
You'll get aloft on them hills like a goat yourself. Why, it makes me young again. I was going to forget me timber love. It is a fine thing to be young, and have all 10 toes you may lay to that. Why don't you go below and fix up a snack to bring along? Shipmates, it's got to come to blows sooner or later, so here it is. Mr. Hans, you'll pick a crew and stay aboard. Send up a signal for Captain Smollett makes it. The rest of us will head ashore and make for the stockade. Now bustle to it.
13 of the party boarded 2 separate jolly boats. When I saw Long John preparing to board the second one, I decided to go ashore myself. Now, I know that was reckless, Your Lordship, but my plan was to follow the pirates, overhear their schemes, and inform the gentlemen once they came ashore. So I snuck over the side of the first jolly boat and climbed aboard.
Six of the pirates have remained aboard, Captain.
Where are they?
Below deck, sir.
Good, we'll trap them there.
I believe the coxswain is Real Hans is their principal man, Captain. The remaining 13, including Silver, have gone ashore.
Thank you, Squire. Dr. Livesey, take the last jolly boat from the stern fort and load as much provisions, pork, and muskets as you can.
Aye, Captain.
Hunter, Frederick, guard the gallery between the forecastle and the cabin.
Aye, Captain.
Squire, ready your pistol and cover the deck. There may still be faithful hands.
One more thing, Captain. Jim Hawkins is gone. He must have slipped into a boat and gone ashore to mutiny us.
Why, I give it him an even chance we ever see that boy again. Israel hands, there are 4 of us armed here on deck. If any one of you 6 makes a signal of any description, that man's dead.
Down, John!
Now for the rest of you men. I am willing to offer complete amnesty to anyone willing to reconsider his position and resume his duty for king and country. Come now, I am leaving this ship and ordering any faithful sailors to follow his captain. This is your last chance. I am risking my life and the lives of these good gentlemen every second. Well,
Where do you think you're going, Greg?
out of my way, Mr. Hans! Come back,
I'm with you, Captain.
What is your name, sailor?
Abraham Gray, carpenter's mate.
Good man, Gray. Now let's get in the jolly boat and make for shore.
Nothing but a fester and marsh rose up in the middle of the sea, just as I remember.
I let an evening run off, Long John, and I lost track of the boy.
Find the boy and bring him to me.
Aye, Long John.
I'll deal with Nathan. Have the other men find out.
It is a big island, Long John.
All your bungling will cost us control of the stockade. Now scat! You monumental lover!
I can't keep her together, sir. Time to wash her down. Can you pull a little stronger?
Not without swamping the boat. You must bear up, Doctor. Bear up if you see we're gaining.
We'll never get the shore straight.
If it's the only course we can lie, then we must even lie. We must keep upstream.
The current's less already, sir. You can ease her off a bit.
Thank you, Gray. Oh, Scott told me we forgot about the cannon.
They can never get the cannon ashore, Captain. They could never hold it in the woods.
Look astern, Doctor. That rogue-faced rogue Israel Hans is manning the cannon.
Aye, Captain Flint's gunner, they said.
Right over her head. You didn't factor in the
If
wind.
this won't do, who's the best shot?
Scourge on the other way.
Squire, if you please, will you pick off Israel Hans, if possible, Easy with the gun, Squire, you'll swamp the boat. All hands ready to trim her when he aims.
No gun, Captain. He stooped down. Here come the jolly boats from the island, Captain. Most likely going around shore to cut us off.
It's not them I'm worried about, it's the cannon. Oh, my lady, May couldn't miss. Squire, tell us when you see the match and we'll hold water.
Ready!
Hold! We hit them, then they must finish this hand.
Now, Nick, because I think it's gold dust, gold dust. You may lay it hands. Why, if I hadn't taken to you like pitch, would I be here a warning of you? The wilderness knew it. Where'd I be? Now tell me, Nathan, where'd I be?
Silva, you're not what has the name for it. And you're brave. Or I mistook. And will you tell me that you'll let yourself be led away with this message box? Not you. Not the honorable Long John Silva.
Nathan, the terms of this cruise were laid out from the start. I trust you to stand with us, to make your fortune as a true sailor. So don't you talk to me of honor. You run off like a yellow dog.
If this be a true sort, Silva, I'd be wiser to have no truck with you. As sure as God sees me, I'd sooner lose me hand. If I turn against me duty. Long John, in heaven's name, tell me what was that?
That's... Oh, I reckon that's the hour.
Alan. May God rest his soul for a true seaman. You're no better than any of Winsoul's crew. A common cutthroat is what you are, Silver. Now, always, and forever. And if I die like a dog, then I die in me duty. You killed Alan, have you? Then kill me too, if you can. But I defy you.
Duty is duty, Miss
We won the foot race to the stockade, your lordship, and we had just enough time to run up to colours, God save His Majesty the King, before the mutineers appeared to be out of the wood.
Here they come, Captain.
Positions! Aim! Squire, ready, fire! Hold fire, they retreated into the trees. Hunter, try to turn fire! Hold, they scattered again.
Be I going, Doctor?
Reverend man, we're going home.
I just wish I had one more look at them with the gun first. Tom, say you forgive me, won't you? Howsoever, so be it. Someone might read bread. It's the custom.
Don't you take on, Squire. All's well with Tom. No fear for a man who's been shot down in his duty. Get into the blockhouse. Now what do you suppose has become of the boy?
And all for today, as your hands come thundering away from Lord Hispaniola.
in?
Strike the colors? No, sir, not I. Gentlemen, I call these circumstances grim. Our stores being so low will be starved into surrender before the week is out. Our best hope now is to kill off the mutineers.
From my team, they are already reduced to 14, and 2 others are wounded.
And besides that, we have 2 able allies, rum and disease. I stake my hat half guns beyond their backs for a week. Count us on the march and without reviews.
Every time we have a crack at them, we ought to take it, saving our own lives with the extremest care.
And what about the gold, Captain?
Squire, I'm afraid for the time being this is officially not a treasure cruise.
I shall not leave this island without it.
Gentlemen, the only thing we shall not leave this island without is the boy.
Quite right, Lizzie, the boy.
Quite right.
No, Your Lordship. I do not think it fair to punish him. He is only a boy after all. I take it on my shoulders. Had I known that the dangers involved, I never would have taken him along. And I had no reason at that moment to doubt the boy's loyalty. I was along for his safety.
Avast there, matey! Nowhere's left for you to scamper. Aye, mate, says you. Here's trickery and let me bleeding. Or just more weaseling from Jacobs. Or just my headpiece fiddling. Blast me to perdition, will ya? No, says you. And right you were. Already been and back again, as you should know. Spirits. So avast there kindly, I says again, and likewise belang, while I crosses myself and touches you for assurance. You're real! Sing and drown as I drown and sing, but you're real!
Who are you?
I'm Ben Gunn! I'm poor Ben Gunn, I am. I haven't spoken to the Christian these 3 years.
3 years? Were you shipwrecked?
Nay, matey, marooned. Marooned these 3 years ago. Lived on goats ever since then. And married. And oysters. Whoever a man is, says I, a man can do for himself. But, matey, my heart is sore for a Christian diet. You might happen to have any cheese about you. No, many's the long nights I've dreamed of cheese. Toasted no sleep, and woke up again, and here I were.
Well, if I ever get aboard again, you shall have cheese by the stone.
If ever you can get aboard again, why now, who's to hinder you?
Not you, I know.
And right you were. Cheese by the stone, you said. Once I get aboard again, there's my boat, just a little boat I made with my 2 hands out of goat skin. I came right to the White Rock on the east coast of the island. We might try that after dark. Now you, what do you call yourself, matey?
Jim.
Jim! Jim! Jimmy, Jimmy, Jim, Jim, Jim. Well now, Jim, if what Providence had put me here, I've thought all out of this here on the island, and I'm back on piety. You don't catch me tasting rum so much, but just a thimbleful, for luck, of course. First chance I have. I'm bound I'll be good, and I see the way too. I'll make a man of you, Jim. Oh, Jim, you'll bless your stars, you will. You was the first that found me. Now, Jim, you tell me true. That ain't Captain Flint's ship.
No, it's owned by Squire Shawnee. Captain Flint is dead. And I'll tell you as true as ask me. There's some of Flint's hands aboard. Less luck for the rest of us.
Not a man with one leg!
Long John Silver.
Ah, Silver, that was his name.
Yes, he's the cook and the reader too.
If you were sent by Silver, I'm as good as Bug and I know it.
I wasn't sent by Long John. I'm running away from here. Long John and most of the mutiny. We were after the treasure and not laying into it.
You're all in a glow hitch, ain't ya? Well, you just leave it to Ben Gunn. Ben Gunn's the man to do it. Would you think it likely now that your squire would come down to the tune of, say, 1,000 pounds in money, as good as a man doing already?
Well, I'm sure he would. All hands to share.
And
And the passage home?
Well, if we ever get aboard again, we shall want you to put Professor Rowe.
So you would. But now you look here. Look at me. Do I look like a man before the mast? No, says you. No, I weren't either. Just you mentioned them words to your squire. No, he wouldn't either. That's the words. 3 years he was a man of the island, light and dark, foul and rain. And sometimes he would maybe think upon a prayer. This says you. And sometimes he would maybe think of his old mother. Be as she's alive. You'll say. But the most part of his time, this is what you'll say. The best part of his time was took up with another matter. And then you nipped him like I do. How? Then you'll laugh and you'll say, Gunn is a good man. You'll say, he puts a precious sight, more confidence. A precious sight. Mind that. And a gentleman born than a nice gentleman of fortune, having been one himself.
I don't understand what you've been saying. What was that?
That was a cannon. It's a fight, Jim. Follow me. All the colors! There's your friend, sure enough, shore up in the old stockade blockout, as was made years and years ago by Flint. Ah, he was a man having headpiece, was Flint. Following from his match was never seen. He wore afraid of night. Not he, only Long John Silver. Mr. Silver with that deal.
Well, that may be so, and so be it. All the more reason I should hurry toward my friends.
You won't forget my words now. A precious sight, that's what you'll say. A precious sight, all confident. And then lift him.
How? Well, I believe I understand. You have something to propose. You will to be found by found. Is that all?
And if you was to see Silver again, you wouldn't go for it to sell a big gun. No, says you. It is about the upper shore tonight, Jim. What would you say when there be winners in the morning?
The cannonballs went flying through the woods in the direction of the stockade, your lordship. Through my spyglass, I could see that the Hispaniola is still lying capping his anchorage. Presently, Hunter reported a lone figure scaling the stockade fence.
Don't shoot, it's boy.
Hello, Hunter, Dr. Squire Gray.
And soon, the lad had told us all his story.
Well played, Hawkins, but I cannot recommend running off alone again.
Nor can I.
Well, Nigel, perhaps you are fortunate that you did this one instance. I'm determined that your information about Benyon will prove useful. Was it cheese you said you had fancy for?
Yes, sir, cheese.
Well, Jim, just see the good that comes from being named in your food. See my snuff box, haven't you? You never saw me take snuff. The reason being that in my snuff box I carry a piece of Parmesan cheese. A cheese made in Italy, very nutritious. Well, that's for Ben Gunn.
We were all dead tired, as your lordship may imagine, and we soon retired for the evening. The noise of the mutineers ceased soon after darkness fell. But in the dead of night, we were awakened by a series of unsettling screams carrying across the arch in the direction of their camp. At dawn, we were hailed by a voice from outside the camp.
Flag of truce! Flag of truce!
It's Silver himself.
10 to 1 into trick men, keep indoors. Stand or we fire.
Flag of truce!
Lively men and careful. And what do you want with your flag of truce?
Captain Silver, sir, to come on board and make friends.
Captain Silver? Don't know him. Who is he?
Me, sir. These poor lads may be caught after your desertion, sir. But we're willing to submit if we can come to terms and no bones about it. All I ask is your word, sir, that I be allowed safe and sound out of this here stockade, and a minute to get out of shot before her gun is fired.
Captain Silver, I have not the slightest desire to speak to you. If you wish to talk to me, you can come. That is all.
That's enough, sir. A word from you's enough. I know, gentlemen, that you may lay to that.
Don't do it, Long John. I trust him. See, snakes. Oliver!
Avast there, you lubberly bum!
Here you are, my man.
Well, Captain. Jim Hawkins, there you are. Top of the morning to you, Doctor. Here's my service. Well, there you all are, looking like a happy family in a manner of speaking.
If you have anything to say, you better say it.
Right, you are, sir. Well, it's a good trick you played last night, murdering poor Johnny in his sleep. I won't deny it was a good trick. One of you handy with a hand spike end. I won't deny neither what some of my people was shook. Maybe all was shook. Maybe I was shook myself, and that's why I'm here for terms.
Not one of my men has done any harm to yours that had it coming to them by fire first. If that is indeed your implication, you should look to yourself. Well,
we want the treasure, and we'll get it, and that's our point. You just as soon save your own lives, I reckon, and that's yours. Give us the chart to find the treasure by, and drop of killing poor seamen by stolen into their heads while they're asleep. And we'll give you a choice. Either you come aboard with us after the treasure's shipped, and you'll have me affidavit upon me word of honor to clap you somewhere safe ashore. Or if that's not to your liking, some of my hands being rough, and having old scores on account of hazing, why you can stay. We'll divide scores with you, man for man, and you'll have me affidavit as before to speak the first ship I sight to come and pick you up. Now you'll own that's talking, handsomer you could have before. And I hope all hands in this here stockade overhaul me words, for what is spoke to one is spoke to all.
is that all?
Every word, by the way. Refuse that and you've seen the last of me but musket balls.
Very good. Now you'll hear me. If you'll come up one by one, unarmed, I'll engage to clap you in irons and take you home to a fair trial in England. If not, my name is Alexander Smollett. I've flown my sovereign's colors, and I'll see you all to Davy Jones. You can't fight us, you can't find the treasure, and you can't sail the ship. Why, Gray and there got away from 5 of you. You're on a leash, your silver, and I stand here and tell you so, for the last good words you'll hear from me, or I'll put a bullet in your back next time we meet. Tramp, lads, hand over hand and double quick.
Give us a hand.
Not I.
Who'll give me a hand? 4 hours out. I'll stove in this old blockhouse like a rum puncheon. Laugh, by thunder, laugh. But 4 hours out, you'll be laughing upon the other side. Them that die will be the lucky ones.
My lads, I've given silver a broadside. I've pitched it in a red hot on purpose, for before the hour's out, as he stated, we shall be boarded. We are outnumbered. I needn't tell you this, but we'll fight from shelter. Doctor, you take the door. Don't expose yourself, keep indoors, and fire through the porch. Gray, you'll take the south side. Squire, you are the best shot. You and Hunter will take the long east side with the 5 loopholes. If they can, they will take possession of any unprotected loophole and shoot us down like rats in our own stronghold. Hawkins, you and I are no match for firing, but we'll stand by to load and bear a hand if needed. Hunter, ready to all hands.
Captain Smollett, I would like to say that it has been an honor serving under your command. Livesey, Hunter, Gray, Hawkins, it's been my privilege. Let's hold this ground for dear old Redwood and for King George.
For King George. Quarters. Steady, men, steady. Anything on your side, Squire?
Nothing, Captain.
Hang them. Where are they, the cowards?
If you please, sir, if I see one, am I to fire?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Did you hit your man?
No, sir, I believe not, sir.
Next best thing to tell the truth. Load his gun, Hawkins.
Orders been straight for building! There's 4 minutes stocking kids like bookies.
Out of my hands! Fight him in the open!
escaped into the woods.
Have they run, Squire?
Hold it, good Captain, but this 5 of them will never run again.
There's no turning the mutiny this afternoon, or Walter. Not to mention another shot out of the woods.
They got their rations for the day.
As Captain Small did it. Hunter did what I could, never regained consciousness in this world. Sometime during the night, that type of sound really cool. As for the captain's wounds, they're grievous indeed, but not fatal.
Squire, you were right, and I was wrong. Our chances were much better aboard the Hispaniola. We never should have abandoned her.
Captain, you are sure of recover, but in weeks to come, it's not going to save you.
And then, without a word of explanation, the doctor took up Captain Flint's arm and with a musket over his shoulder, set off quickly through the woods. And later that evening, when nobody was observing me, I decided to go ashore to the east coast of the island and to see if the big white rock thing that I had mentioned, see if he indeed make a goat skin boat. My plan was to cut the Hispaniola adrift to a ship where she fancied, and I wanted to get the ship back to the captain.
So much I'll tell you, Doctor, and no more. I were this ship when he buried treasure here in this very island some 9 years ago. He and 6 men along, 6 strong seamen.
Here be the spot, lads. Break your backs. Get to digging, ye sea swamps.
They was ashore, nigh on the week, and they're standing off aboard the old Walrus. We'll never know for certain what happened that night, but there was murder, sudden death, and a battle leastways. He against 6.
It'll be the last of Captain Flint. I would have struck gold in the pit.
Thank you kindly, Awareness. Think on it, lads. 700,000 pounds of gold buried right here, and not a soul knows its whereabouts. But how am I to know when we kept the secret? Fair? What was that? To hell with you all! Ah! Oh! What? Thank you kindly. Oh! Too slow, lad. Oh! Need this? I'll get to you in a minute. Have I had you to play that? Apparently not. You're gonna pay for that one. Hello, lad. Too slow. Let me give you a word of advice, lad. Dead men don't bite.
Then one fine morning, back comes Captain Flint, all by himself in a little boat. There he was, you mind, and the 6 all dead. Dead and buried. How he done it, not a man aboard us could make out. Billy Bones was first mate, and Mr. Silver was quartermaster. And then they out and asked,
Where be the treasure, Captain?
You can go ashore and look for it if you like. Stay there for all I care. But as for me and this ship, we'll go along and be done more by thunder!
That's what he said. Well, I were another ship 3 years back, and we sighted this same island.
Boys,
Said I.
here's Flint's treasure. Let's land and find it.
The Captain Jacobs, was displeased at that, but my messmates were all of a mind and landed. 12 days we looked for it, and every day they had the worst word for me, all for the ones of Flint's chart. Then one fine day, all hands went back aboard.
What ho, Captain Jacobs? What's amiss?
Benjamin Gunn, I'll leave you a spade, a pickaxe, and a musket. Stay here and find Flint's treasure for yourself.
So, Doctor, 3 years have I been here, and not to find Any more cheese?
No, your lordship. We did not see the doctor again until after his meeting with Ben Gunn. When we returned to the blockhouse, I informed him that Jim had run off again. We sent search parties through the night, but to no avail. And at dawn, to add to our worries, we noticed that the Hispaniola had disappeared from Captain Kidd's anchorage.
15 men on a dead man's chest. Go! You push me!
Permission to come aboard, Mr. Hank. Much hurt?
If that doctor was still aboard, I'd be riding up in a couple of turns. But no manner of good luck to see Jim. And that's what's wrong with me.
I've come to take possession of the ship. You shall regard me as your captain until further notice. By the by, I can't have these colors, and with your leave, I'll strike it. Better none than these. God save the king and an end to Captain Silver.
I reckon you're kind of wanting to get shore about now. Suppose we talked.
Why, yes, what's on my heart? Say on.
This man, Dirk O'Brien, where his name. Me and this man got the canvas on it, meaning for to sell her back. Well, he's dead now, he is. I'm temporarily incapacitated. Who's gonna sell the ship? I'll see. I'll give you a hint. You ain't that man, Captain Hawkins. I just can't tell. Now, you go give me a handkerchief, scarf, patch her this one. I'll tell you how to sell it.
There's something I have to tell you. I'm not going back to Captain Kidd's anchorage. And I need to get to North Inlet.
North Inlet? Well, I have no choice. I'd help you sell it all the way to Execution Dock. By thunder.
All right, Mr. Hands, we have a bargain. Using my handkerchief, Israel Hands found the great bleeding stab he had received in his thigh. The coxswain then told me how to lay to your lordship, and after a good many tries, I succeeded. The Hispaniola sailed easily before the wind along the coast of Treasure Island, and we had good hopes of turning the northern point by evening.
Here's my old shipmate, Dirk O'Brien. Suppose you were to keep him overboard. I ain't no particular as a rule, and I don't take no blame for settling his hash. But I don't reckon him ornamental, now do you?
I'm not strong enough. I don't like the job that he buys for me.
Well, I ain't no scholar. You're a lad that's to read and figure. Now to get it straight, you take it as a dead man stays dead for good, or he don't lie.
You can kill the body, Mr. Hands, but you can't kill the spirit. You must know that already. O'Brien lives in another world, and may be watching us.
Well, that's unfortunate. It seems as if killing parties were a waste of time. Now, I take kindly if you went down below, and there should be a bottle of wine. You're dying man kind of parties.
If I was you and thought badly of myself, I would go to my prayers like a Christian.
Why? Now you tell me why.
Why? You live in sin and lies and blood. There's a man who killed at your feet. And you ask me why? For God's mercy, Mr. Hand, that's why.
I've sailed the seas for 30 years. And I've seen good, bad, better, worse, fair weather, foul, provisions running out, knives going in and out. And I tell you what, good ain't come no goodness yet. Him that strikes first is my fancy. Dead men don't bite. Them's my views, amen, so be it.
All right, Mr. Hands. I'll give you some port. I may have to dig for it.
Look over there. There's a nice place to beach a ship. Nice, calm, fair sand. I figured we'd found Captain Hawkins, you and me. We're gonna have to sign articles together. I ain't had no luck. Reckon I'll have to surrender. That ain't good. That ain't for me to say. Master mariner like me, ship skipper like you.
They're meant to fight now.
Say no, I very much miss the wishes of Captain Smart and Squire Clark. I visited the mutineers' camp under a flag of truce. Silver expressed genuine bewilderment at Hispaniola' appearance and gave me his personal affidavit that he had seen neither hide nor hair of Jim. And then I negotiated a temporary ceasefire with Silver, terms of which the mutineers were surprisingly eager to accept.
Don't turn back! Piece of meat! Piece of meat! Piece of meat! Piece of meat!
Who goes there? Why? If it isn't Jim Hawkins, shiver me timbers, quite dropped in like egg. What a pleasant surprise for old Long John. I've always liked John Howe. For a lot of spirits, and a picture of me old self when I was young and handsome. Why, I always hoped you'd join with Captain Silver. Take your share and die a gentleman. And if you like the service, why don't join? But if you don't, you're free to say no, shipmate. Free to look. Take your bearings. None of us won't hurry. Time passes so pleasant in your company, see.
I have a right to know why you're here, and what you know with the doctor, and the captain, and the others. Why aren't they in the blockhouse?
He'd be a lucky one as to know that.
You'll perhaps batten down your hatches till you're spoke to, friend. Yesterday morning, Dr. Livesey comes down with a flag of truce. Captain Silver, he says, let's bargain. So we bargained, him and I, and here we are. Stores, brandy, and blockhouse. As for them, they've trapped. I don't know where they've gone. Here's the last words that was said. As for that boy, I don't know where he is confounded, says your precious doctor. No, I don't much care. We're about sick of him. Them was his words.
Now am I to choose?
Now, you're to choose. You may lay it.
Well, there's a thing I have to tell you. Here you are. Ship lost, men lost, treasure lost. The whole business is going to wreck. You want to know who did it? It was I. I was in the Appleball the night you sighted night. And I heard you, Long John, and Dick Johnson, and Israel Hunt, who is now dead, told every word you said before the hour was out. And as for the schooner, it was I who cut her cable. And it was I who brought her to where you'll see her no more. Not one of you. The last on my side. I've had the top of the business from the first. Kill me if you please, but if you spare me, bygones are bygones. And with you fellows are in court for piracy, I'll do what I can to save you. Ha! It is for you to choose. What? Bygones are bygones.
I'll put one to that. It was him that knew Black Dog in the tavern. And I put another into that with the same boy that pinched the chap from Billy Bones.
Aye, first and last, we split upon Jim Hawkins!
Tom Morgan! Maybe you thought you was captain here, perhaps. By the powers, I'll learn you better. Cross me, and you'll go where many a good man's gone these 30 years back, first and last. Some to the yard arm, some by the board, and all to feed the fishes. There's not a man's looked me between the eyes and seen a good day afterwards, Tom Morgan. You may lay to that.
Tom's right, eh?
I stood hazing long enough from Smollett. I'll be hanged if I'll be hazed by you, John Silver.
Do any of you want to have it out with me? Put a name on what you're at. You ain't dumb, I reckon. You're all gentlemen of fortune by your accounts.
take a cutlass him that dares at all see the color of his insides, crutch and all. I'm captain here by election. I'm captain here because I'm the best man by a long sea mile. You won't fight as gentlemen of fortune should then. By the powers you'll obey, and you may lay to that.
Ask your pardon, sir. You're pretty free with some of the rules. Maybe you'll kindly keep your eyes upon the rest. This crew's dissatisfied. This crew don't value bullying a marlin spy. This crew has a rights like other crews. I'll make so free as that. And by your own rules, I take it we have talked together. I ask your pardon, sir, as you'll be captain at this present, but I claim my right and step outside for a council according to the rules. The rules. Council. We say council. We're gonna have a council.
Look here, Hawkins. You're going to throw me off there. I stand by you, Hawkins. I didn't mean to, no. Not till you spoke up. I seen you was the right sort. I says to myself, yeah, stand by Hawkins, John. Hawkins will stand by you. I'll save your life so be as I can for them. Look here, Hawkins, tit for tat. You save old Long John from swinging. It's a bargain. The black spots. I thought. Where did you get the paper? Why? Hello? This ain't lucky. You've cut this out of a Bible. What fool cuts a Bible?
Oh, see, I told you, no good to buy a horrible luck.
Oh, you fix it among yourselves. You'll all swing now, I reckon. What soft-headed lover had a Bible?
It was Dick.
Dick Johnson, was it? Well, then Dick can get to prayers. He see his slice of luck, has Dick. You can lay to that.
Belay that talk, John Silver. This career's tipped you the black spot in full council. And as in duty bound, just ye turn it over. As in duty bound, it's you with rope there, then we can talk.
Why, thank you, George. You always did half the rules by heart, George, as I'm pleased to see. Now, depose that very pretty word, like print, I swear. This your hand to write, George. You was getting to be quite the leading man in this here crew. You'll be captain next, I shouldn't wonder.
Come now, you don't fool this crew no more. You're over now, and maybe you'll help vote.
I thought you said you know the rules. Leastways, if you don't, I do. I'm still captain here. Till you're out with your grievances, and I reply. Till then, your black spot ain't worth a biscuit.
Oh, I like biscuits. Oh, that's not the point! Oh, sorry. You don't be under no kind of apprehension. We're all square, we are. First, you made a hash of this cruise, and you'll be a bold man to say no to that. Second, you want the enemy out of this here old trap for nothing. Why did they want out? I don't know, but it's pretty plain they wanted it. And three, there's this here boy.
That's all.
Enough to wall swinging sun dry for your bungling.
You all know what I want. You know also, if I had got it, we'd have been back aboard the Hispaniola this very night. Every one of us alive and fit and full of good plum duff python. Who was it? Who tipped me the black spot the day we landed and began this dance? Why, it were Israel Hands and Joe Anderson, and you, George Mann. You're the last aboard of that same meddling crew. You're the Davy Jones insolence. to stand for captain over me. But that's a trifle. Look here.
Why did I love to get you, man?
I know. There's something other. Something surely other than that.
Mighty pretty, but how are we to get away with it? And us? No ship?
You lost the ship. I found the treasure. Now, who's the better man at that? And now, I resign my luck. Electing you like to be captain now, I'm drunk. That's the tune, is it? Sorry, George. Looks like you'll have to wait another turn to be captain. But lucky for you, as I'm not a revengeful man. But that never was my way. Lads, we go after the treasure at first light, so get to bed. All except you, George Mary, I'm putting out for sentence. And if you so much as blink too slow, you'll wake up sliced in two.
So that was the end of the night's business, Your Lordship. And soon after, with a drink all around, we lay down to sleep. And long ere we could close an eye, before we were awakened by a clear, hearty voice, hailing us from the woods.
Podcast Horace, the doctor!
Top of the morning to you, Doctor. Bright and early to be sure. We've got a surprise for you. A little stranger, a new boarder and lodger looking fit and taut as a fiddle. Select like supercargo he did. The very same gin that ever was.
Well, duty first and pleasure afterwards. You might say yourself, Silver. As holy patience yours as well. You're doing well, Harry, my friend. And if ever man had a close shape as you, but your head to his heart sign. Well, George, how goes it? Well, certainly. Well, your liver, man, must be upside down. Did you take that medicine? Did he take that medicine, man?
No. Yes. Or not. Yes.
Constancy, since I am a mutineer's doctor, or prison doctor, as I could call it, I make a point of honor never lose man for any George, God bless him, or the gallows.
They don't feel well, sir.
Don't he? Well, stop here, Dick. Let me see your tongue. No, I should be surprised if he did. This man's tongue is fit to frighten the French. Enough fever.
That come to spoiling his Bible.
And come, as you call it, of being errant asses, not having sense enough to know understand the poison, and vile land who try to a sloth. How the fuck would you? Something surprised me. Well, that's done. Hey? I should wish I'd talked with that boy, please.
Now, do you give me your word as a young gentleman? For a young gentleman you are, although court-born. Your word, not to slip your cable.
I do, Captain Silver.
Then, Doctor, you just go outside the stockade, and when you're there, I'll bring Hawkins out of the inside, and I reckon you can guard the stars. Good day, Doctor, and all our duties to Captain Smollett and the Squire. You're a good man, and you won't forget what I done likes. No more than you'll forget the bad, I know. And now, I step aside, see here, leave you and Hawkins alone. You'll take that down for me as well, for it's a long stretch as that.
Well, Jim, here you are. As you bruise for how you treated my boy. Heaven knows I cannot find it in my heart to blame you, but this much I will say, be it kind or unkind. Going off on your own is irresponsible and disrespectful. Disappointing.
Doctor, you might spare me. I have blamed myself enough. I should have been dead if Captain Silver hadn't stood up for me. Believe me, I can die, and I dare say I deserve it. others. No, you know right well you will do the thing yourself. Neither you, nor the captain, nor squire, and no more will I. Captain Silver trusted me. I passed my word and back my word. But if they torture me, I might let them word where the ship is. Ship? Yes, Doctor, I found the ship. Part by luck and part by risk. She lies in the north inlet and is underneath.
There's a kind of fate in this. Every step, it's you that saves our lives. Do you suppose by any chance we're going to live to lose yours? That'd be a poor turn indeed, my boy. You found out, you found Vanguard, the best fleet that ever you did or will be should you live to 90. All right, you speaking of Vanguard. Silver! Silver, I'll give you a word of advice. Don't you be in any hurry after that treasure.
Why, Doctor, I do the possible, and that's it. I can only, asking your pardon, save my life and the boys by seeking for that treasure you may lay tonight.
Oh, Silver, that's so keep the boy close beside you. And when you need help, blue. Bye, John.
Shipmates, I've been waiting 9 long years for a fleet's chart in ye hands, and a willing and able crew such as yourselves by me side. I call this a fine day. This is what comes of patience, lads, patience. Here.
Tall tree. Spyglass shoulder, bearing point to the northeast.
Spyglass shoulder, I take it means. This lower point here.
Skeleton Island, east, southeast, and my east, 10 paces.
Why? It's child's play to find the treasure now. I have a mind to die first.
Now I'll back up Billy Bones and shove off. A black bastard shoe in to chase my fortune. I'll see thee at Davy Jones.
Aye. Duty is duty, messmate. Settle along lively, lads. This supposed tall tree is a principal marker I mistook. We find the tall tree, we found the plunder.
But Long John, I see all kinds of tall trees bearing off from these. Yeah, which of those do you suppose all the flint we're talking about, huh?
Fair question, Harry. Pick a tree, boys. Fan out. Sound off if you seize a hint. Cinch up pockets, bounce about life.
Oh God, sweet merciful heaven, oh Jesus, my Savior! Oh, he can't have found the treasure already.
Fire and thunder, son, what the devil's with that noise?
A skeleton, Lord John. Aye, he was a seaman. Bless the ways. This is a good cyclone.
Aye, aye. You wouldn't look to find a bishop here already. They're long bones, and the hair's been yellow. Aye, that'll be Allardyce. You mind Allardyce, Tom Ward?
Gosh, I mind her. She owed me money.
Come, what way is this proposed to lie? Feet pointing one way and hands pointing the other. Tainting nature. I've taken a notion in the old monks. There's the point of Skeleton Island, sticking out like a tooth. Just take a bearing, Harry, along the line of the bones.
East. Southeast. By east.
That's what I thought. This here skeleton's a pointer, lads. Now, there's our line for the Bull Star and the Jolly Dollars. This is one of Flint's jokes, make no mistake. He and those men were here alone. He killed them. Every one. This one he dragged up here and laid out by compass by them. Flint were still alive. This would be a hot spot for you and me.
I saw Flint dead with these here deadlights. Billy Bones took me in. Very late with penny pieces on his eyes. Dead! Aye, sure enough he's dead and gone below. But if ever spirits walked, it'd be Flint's. Aye, that's true, it's true. Thinking of it now, I think it were just done me.
Come, stow this talk. He's dead, and he don't walk, that I know. Leastways, he won't walk by day. Now, keep ahead, foot, foremast, shoulder, and then to blues. Press on. Told you, didn't this? You spoiled your Bible. If it ain't no good to swear by, what do you think a spirit would give for us? Not that. Bring her about, mates. Push on! That treasure, and I'll not be stopped by man nor spirit. I was never feared of Flintwood alive, and I'll face him dead. There's £700,000, not a quarter mile from here. What gentleman of fortune should stir to that much gold for a boozy old seaman, and him dead too?
Come now, old John, don't you cross a spirit?
Spirits. Aye, maybe. But that voice had an echo. Now, no man's ever seen a spirit with a shadow. So what's one tune with an echo, I wonder? Tain't in nature, sure. No, can't place the voice. But it's someone's skylarking and someone's flesh and blood.
I found something going into my life. Clint's voice, I grant you, but not just so clear away like after all. We're like her, somebody else's voice now.
By the powers, Ben Gunn!
Ben Gunn is where? It don't make much odds. Do it now, Ben Gunn's not here in the body anymore, Clint. Why, nobody minds Ben Gunn. Dead or alive, nobody minds him. That tree must be 200 feet tall. The zombies, all together!
That's the tree, lads. Heave ahead. Hawkins, take this. Be on the lookout for that trouble the doctor hinted at. Hawkins, I seen the doctor telling you to run for it back in the stockade, from the tail of the eye. I also seen you tell him no, same as here. You keep in your words the first glint of hope I've had since the attack failed.
Every man has his faults, Captain Silver, and honesty is mine.
My life saved your life, Hawkins. You have saved mine, and I won't forget. Now, stay close, back to back. We'll save each other's lives again against fate and fortune.
It's been rifled! I am telling you!
Oh, Silver, you haven't never bungled nothing.
What happened to the money you went and had it lumber?
Dig away, boys. You'll find some pin nuts, and I shouldn't wonder.
Pin nuts? Do you hear that? I tell ye, Silver nor along. Just look at his face, and you'll see his root there.
You're standing in for Captain again, George Mary. You're a pushing lad.
Mates, there's two of them there. One's that old cripple who brought us here and blundered us down to this. The other's that come I need to have the heart of. Now, mates! Ah!
George, I reckon I finally fixed you.
No!
No, I reckon you're here in the nick for me and the boy. Ben Gunn, it was you. You're a nice one to be sure.
And how do, Mr. Silver? Quite well, I thank ye, says you.
It was Ben who found the treasure, Deborah. I won that secret
so the chart be useless.
Otherwise, he wouldn't have forgotten it, Silver. Ben carried all the gold on his back to a cave on a two-pointed hill on the northeast angle of the island. That's where we're heading now.
Ben Gunn, think as you've done me.
Inside Ben Gunn's treasure cave, your lordship, I beheld great heaps of coins. The balloons, blue doors, double guineas, pieces of 8, boudoir sequins, the portraits of all the kings of the earth for the last 100 years, and quadrilaterals built on bars of gold. This was Captain Flint's treasure that we had come so far to seek.
Thank you, John Silver.
Come back to me, duty cat.
Silver, you're a prodigious villain and imposter. A monstrous imposter, sir. I'm told I might prosecute you. Well, then I will not. Let the dead men hang about your neck like millstones.
Thank you kindly, sir.
The next morning, we fell to work, your lordship, for the transportation of this great mass of gold was a considerable task. Day after day this work went on. Every evening we had a whole fortune stowed aboard, and another portion waiting for the morrow. A full 4 days later, we weighed anchor and stood out in the Northumberland, the same colours flying that we flew and fought on at the blockhouse.
Oh God! Oh Lord! Please don't leave us! What am I to do? I'm so scared!
We've given to some looking to just the mutineers.
Hold drop.
Trample raving.
Precious little odds as to which for you and me.
My feelings may surprise you, Silver, but I was sure they are raving as I morally suspect one at least of them is down with fever. I should leave this ship and, at whatever is my own carcass, take the assistance of my skill.
Begging your pardon, sir, but you'd lose your precious life. Those men couldn't keep their word, no. Not supposing they'd wish to. Nor I don't suppose they'd believe you to keep yours.
Your men keep your word, we know that. We've left you stores, medicines, tools, good stock of powder and shots.
We laid ahead for the nearest port in Spanish America, your lordship, but we could not risk the voyage home without fresh hands. Dr. Lizzie, the boy, and Abraham Gray accompanied me ashore, while Ben Gunn and his squire stayed aboard with Silver.
That gun was ship's home! Stop where you are, Silver! You fiend! Not only are you a liar and a murderer, you're also a thief! Now I'll see you hang!
Good heavens, Squire!
Ah! Wait! No!
My Ben Gunn. You're not useless after all. I like you for my crew. If you're to join wine, you'll help up a sack or two. Of course, argument could be made to staying aboard, taking your chances with the treasure. What say?
I'm with you, Mr. Silver.
We returned to find Squire Trelawney murdered, your lordship. Ben Gunn and Silver gone, and several hundred guineas missing. In 19 days out of port, we were finally apprehended by the frigate HMS Weston. The Hispaniola returned with only 4 of those who originally sailed with her.
21 lives that gold cost us. Drink, and the devil done for the rest with a vengeance, your lordship. How many lives in total that gold has cost and amassing what blood and sorrow?
What great ships scuttled on the deep.
What shot cannon?
What brave men walking the plank blindfolded.
What shame and lies and cruelty perhaps no man alive could tell.
Captain Smollett, Dr. Lizzie, Jim Hawkins. This hearing is concluded. We accept your accounts of the events on Treasure Island. We grieve for the good men and good friends that you have lost. You are now released from custody. Captain Flint's stolen gold has been recovered from the crown, for the crown. And as with Boss Silver, it shall remain for Captain Flint supposedly buried.
Certainly there it lies for me, your lordship. Oxons and Wainwrights could not drag me back to Treasure Island. But for what I know, there are still men living who desperately seek Captain Flint's bar of silver, but living a life of brutally, dishonor, and greed.
Shake up your timbers, lads. We've 3 days of bar silver to dig up. If you can't live like a king, live like a duke, I say. Take what you can,
when you can. Backs into it. 15 men on a dead man's chest. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
No, your lordship. A pirate's life is not for me. I may never take to sea again. But I figured I've had enough adventures to last a lifetime.
I'm older than him, but he's like my big little brother. And I love him so much. And I'll tell you one memory that I love before I pass it off to them. But one memory that I'll never forget is, I've already told this on social media, but one day I got a new car and I let Kevin drive my car. And when I dropped Kevin off after he drove it, Larry told me, hey, Christian, do you think I can drive your car? And I said, sure. Do you have your learners? He said, no. I said, well, I said, sure anyway. So I gave him the wheel, and literally the first 5 seconds, he almost rammed my car into a post. He drove a go-kart though, so that's great. So I'll pass it on to Kevin.
Christian definitely did it. He was definitely my brother. I hung out with him every day for a good long while. But, you know, we had everything in common, you know. Music brought us together through everything. And, man, it was different. Like, not in a bad way. It was different. Like, after, like, the football game, when we, you know, coming out the band or whatever, I'd go home, I'd sleep in on Saturday morning, I'd wake up at 11, and I'd smoke food. Pancakes. Never in my life has mom really fun. So, I get up, Larry's got sausage right here, pancakes over there, bacon right there. I was like, he's like, Well, I got bored, so I walked over here. I was like, all right. I'm not complaining.
I remember my freshman year when I went into the drama department and we did Cinderella. And Larry was, well, he was the prince. And then Larry was, this, like, little Sebastian. He's a little sidekick, basically.
Bigger.
And I just remember, because I was crew, I didn't act, because that was my first year back from like 6th grade acting and doing drama and stuff. And I just remember I was like crying at one point, of course, and he just came back there and like we had talked like twice, and he just came back there and he like hugged me and he was like, "It's gonna be okay." He was like, "I got you. You're my friend. You're my buddy. I'm your bodyguard now." And like the last time I talked to him, I think was the Friday before, like last week. He said the exact same thing to me, and he always said that, and he always made it a point to hug me in the hall. And he just really meant a lot to me, and it's tough, but it's okay.
With this life, guys, even though his life was short, he also had so much fun with all his friends, his family, and even on hard times, he's had a hard life, but he's always kept a smile on his face, and we do recommend